and welcome to another episode of the Nindie Focus Podcast. My name is Roger. Along with me are my good friends and co-hosts, Phil.
Hello.
And Mike.
Howdy.
And unfortunately, Jordan is not able to join us this week. He's
doing a calendar photo shoot.
He's doing a calendar. Yeah.
He's working on March and April right now.
That's right. So we don't know why he's waiting this long to do those 2 months, because you would think that those calendars should be out already. But
it's a virtual desk calendar, like
That's
the word
right.
of the day one. You get a different picture of Jordan every day as the background of your computer, depending on what day it is.
Yep. One of the old school classic Windows screensavers.
Yep.
And then you get to print it out with the dot matrix.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be great. So
don't make that noise. It gives me flashbacks. I hear that noise for 10 hours a day.
Oh god.
Jeez.
So yeah, he'll join us again next week. But today we're talking about Armello and I'll talk about it when we get to the part, because we'll talk about it when we get there. Before we get into that though, one last thing I want to say before we get into all that. If you like what you have, if you like what you hear on the show, give us a review. We love to hear what you have to say about the show. You can leave us a review on iTunes, on Podchaser, on Google, whatever it is now, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you have to say about the show, and we'll read it on the air. So there you go. All right, let's talk about what we've been playing before we get into the switching on the budget game. I'll start with you, Mike. What have you been playing?
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with you.
Oh, yeah. You
I know
both
where
probably
this is going.
do, don't you? Yes.
So last week there was a lot of fawning.
Wait.
You would think it's hunting season. There was so much fawn.
I'm gonna cut right here, and I'm gonna play a little bit of last week's episode so you can hear what I talked about in this game.
Make sure you add the flashback sound effects.
It was so like over the top. And then the crazy thing that happened today was that there's some dynamite in this game, which is kind of weird. But the commentator's table.
It's kind of you glazed over that dynamite real quick.
Really.
I love
This
how
is a wrestling game. There's some dynamite
like,
in it, kind of weird, but you know.
And then something crazy happened today, which is like 6 stories worth of, and then something crazy happened today. Oh, and by the way, we blew each other the hell up. It was great.
All right, Mike, lay it on me.
Okay. So you were gushing over you were gushing over this game and just saying how amazing it was, and I bought into the hype. I was all excited. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's Wrestling Empire.
Yes, it's so good, right?
And then I played it, and I was like,
Mike.
Like janky.
Yes, that's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah, but there's fun and there's aggravating.
Oh,
I gotta say, So at the very most professional way I'll say it is that Roger, as much as I respect you, I did not share in your enthusiasm.
Oh,
not saying the game was not saying the game was awful. It just, I don't know. It just wasn't clicking with me. Like I tried, like, so this is what aggravated me to no end while I was playing the game. There were several times where I was ahead. Like my health bar was much higher than the AI person. And then I would do a move and they would reverse it or whatever. And they would put me into like an arm bar or a leg lock. And I would be stuck like that for 1.5 minutes while my health slowly drained.
Really?
And I'm slamming on the buttons. I'm doing everything. And like, nothing's happening. He just keeps, using this submission hold. I'm like, and the ref isn't doing anything. He's picking stuff up. He's throwing it out of the ring. I'm just like, hey, I'm not tapping out. So you got to break up the move after a few seconds. That's the rules.
Yeah.
It was just, I love the RPG elements and the story elements and making life choices and stuff like that. There was one instance where this one guy's like, hey, this guy, if you want, I don't like this guy. So if you pay me $150, I'll beat this guy up during your match to make it easier for you to win.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So then he runs into the ring and starts beating me up.
What? He
and
turned
then after
on
the
you.
match, and then no, he didn't, because after the match ended, it said he and I were friends still.
What? Well, that's broken.
So I know there's a lot of people that love this game, like in all its silliness.
Yeah.
Like I did crack up. I say I will laugh a bunch of times. There was one part where I had come down with a fever and I was really sick. So as I'm walking to the ring, I'm like holding my stomach and I'm doubled over.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to walk and I try to climb up to the turnbuckle to do my entrance thing. And my guy just jumps and flips and lands outside of the ring and is just laying there while the other guy walks to the ring.
Oh, that's the best.
It's just
I love that. That's so fun. Mike, that's so much fun.
it would be, I see, I can handle that silliness if the controls were a little bit more concise and playable. It's like I don't know. I just seem to be like flailing around a lot. It's like going into it's just, there was a lot of button mashing involved, and I don't know. Maybe I need to spend more time with it, but I will say maybe it was the hype. But
it was my hype, mind you. It wasn't everybody else's hype, but my hype.
Okay, so your hype. I got drawn into the hype.
Yeah.
Roger's a good hype man.
I am. Yeah.
He'd make a good Paul Heyman.
Well, I'm working on the side, getting some side money. So.
Oh, okay.
No,
so you're working for Wrestling Empire.
Yeah, I'm not.
Suckering gullible fools like myself into. No, I'm just joking.
Do you like wrestling?
Why, yes, I do.
Then I got a game for you, man.
So, I don't know. Maybe I need to put more time into it, but I will say my initial impressions were not as enthusiastic as yours.
Okay. Well, that's too bad. Phil, you also play this game, right?
And by the way, I'm
take
done.
His turn still.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
By the way, I'm done. That's
Okay.
the only thing I played. That's the only thing I have to talk about. I'll be quiet.
So sorry, Mike. Phil, you also played this game?
Outside of Armello, I too played some Wrestling Empire.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how I feel about this game. I want to like it, but so much of it, like Mike says, doesn't make any effing sense whatsoever.
That's the best part.
No, because I've had the same problem as Mike, where I get stuck in an armbar for a minute and a half and can't do a darn thing.
See, that never
or
happened
vice
to
versa. I've got somebody else in an armbar for a minute and a half and nothing else happening.
Yeah.
I was just the special referee in a match, and I couldn't even see myself a vast majority of the match. Like, I'm just kind of off camera, which I get it as referee. I'm not supposed to be in the middle of everything. Understandable. But I don't even know where the hell my guy is. And all of a sudden, like, they get back into the ring because I didn't know how to do anything as a referee, like count or count out. And all of a sudden, I'm just chilling up on the top turnbuckle, and I had no idea I was up there because the camera wasn't on me.
Yeah, that is broken. That is broken.
Yeah, some of it's really broken. I've been amused by some of the things that the storyline does. Sometimes I do dumb stuff, and it's my own fault for hitting B instead of A because Nintendo Switch controllers are backwards, where everything else is. Yeah, and so like I've ended up turning down certain offers that have been made to me when I'm trying to accept them. Are we sure that like the career mode doesn't play out the same for everybody else, like week by week?
I don't know.
In mine, the first thing I joined was the Canadian League. And
Me too.
And then they're like, you need to get your stamina up to 80%. Or maybe it wasn't stamina, but it was something.
How far in are you, Mike?
I think I'm about 3 months in, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I'm in April, and I haven't had anything like that happen. I got promoted to their version of ECW, like Wrestling
you did?
Revolution,
I didn't
is what
get
it's called.
Yeah, I didn't either. Did you go to the Canadian League at all, Phil?
No, because the Canadian League is ranked higher. Wrestling Revolution is, I think there's 9 leagues in the game, and so Wrestling Revolution was number 8, and that's where I got promoted to. Well, being the title holder for the previous one, and I never dropped my title, but I don't have a title.
Okay.
Like it didn't come with me, so I have no idea who the undergraduate champion or whatever it's called is.
Yeah.
And so then I had my first match for Wrestling Revolution, and the special guest referee said, whoever wins this match gets a shot at my title.
Oh.
Whatever. I end up winning the match. But I don't get the title shot until the end of the month, and I haven't quite made it to the end of the month yet. And then afterwards,
that's cool.
Some of the storytelling stuff is pretty amusing.
Yeah.
And then I go in the back and I talk to a guy, and he's like, there's a guy by the name of Mr. Benjamin or whatever in a different promotion.
Oh,
We'd like you to mimic him. Yeah,
What?
it is.
You would like to what?
And they're like, they wanted me to be like their version of Ted DiBiase, like to steal his stuff.
That's so
and so
cool.
like all of a sudden my look has changed to looking more like Ted DiBiase.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
Then I leave his office only to get called back in to say, hey, by the way, we're short a referee for the night. Would you like to referee tonight? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I got nothing else going on. They ended up giving me an extra $258, which I only make $105 a week as is. So I made 2.5 times my pay for refereeing.
Wow.
I don't know why I'm still wrestling. I should just become a ref.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said, I could not figure out how to do anything as a referee. It turns out the taunt button does all of your referee motions eventually
interesting.
if you ever get sent to be a referee.
Okay. I haven't
It's
yet.
broken though, but I did notice tonight as I was playing that everybody in the crowd are wrestlers.
Yes.
Yeah. the
Like
wrestling
flat 2Ds.
skins.
That kind of made
Yeah.
me chuckle.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but it is pretty difficult to play sometimes. And I don't know how to do reversals. I didn't do the tutorial or anything like that. And like everybody else keeps reversing stuff on me, and I have no idea how to do it. I don't know how to escape anything. It's just a matter of attrition, basically. Like just hang out in this hold or whatever until we've decided you've suffered enough.
And what gets me too is like if is it Aki did the original?
Yeah.
Like if Aki could have done it so perfectly almost 25 years ago, and obviously they're going. I know it's just one guy. I know it's just one guy,
yeah.
and I respect the hell out of that. I do. But if he's going for a copy paste of those games, then if they were able to do it 25 years ago, then I'm sure he could do it now.
Yeah, but I think part of the charm of it is that like he knows it's broken, right? Like there's shirts that says this is the worst game. Like you can have wrestlers wearing that shirt, right?
I know, but it could be so much better if he
I know. I agree. 100%. So all your criticisms of the game, I agree. Like the camera is really broken. Like there's been many times where I'm just like the manager or the person that's on the side, and I can't see my character at all, right? So same thing because the camera's not on me. But I will say this, so it's B is your reversal. So if you do a well-timed B, you can do reversal moves, and those are pretty cool. Like someone might jump off the top rope, and if you hit B timed right, you might grab them and do like a pile driver instead. It's really cool. Like I've seen this happen. It's really neat.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look at my Switch to figure out which button B was because of the way that the stupid buttons are set up on the effing Switch.
Yeah. It's the A button for every other controller. So, so I also have, Phil, do you ever play anything else? I'm sorry.
No, but I would just like to say Horus was made by 2 people.
True. That is true. And that's a really good game.
That's good. That's a good point.
Yeah, but it's 2 people. No, just kidding.
That's twice
The other guy on this guy's team must have had a hell of a lot of talent.
That's
The
right.
first guy put out a game like Wrestling Empire. The second guy's just like, why are you here besides just have your name in the credits, man?
That's right. Wasn't that the story of Fez? Wasn't that the whole story behind Fez? Like one of the guy that developed, I can't think of his name. Mike, do you remember? Or Phil, do you remember his name?
Was it Phil Fish?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole and there was somebody that was like, he claimed was like riding his coattails, right? Like wasn't doing anything, and like it was supposed to be 2 people working on it. I don't know. It's just there was that documentary a couple of years ago about indie. It was like Indie Dev or something like that, right? I don't remember. But anyway, so I also have been playing a little. I haven't played as much as I wanted to, but I played some more Wrestling Empire. So I still love this game. I'm the tag team champions now in the Canadian League, and my tag team partner said, "Hey, you know what? We gotta like look the same." So now we both look the same. And you know who the guy is? It's Will Wind in the game, but it's Kerry Von Erich. Is that his or Eric Von?
Okay.
Is it Kerry Von Erich? Right.
Yeah, the Von Erichs for the wrestling family
Von
out of
Erichs,
Texas.
yeah. So he has that white trunks with the with the streamers coming off his arms and the long hair and like the headband, the white headband. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing now too.
Mhm.
The promoter. Oh, so this is kind of cool. So when you get signed by a promotion, you can negotiate your contract. And one of the things you can negotiate is the creative rights around your character. So they can't tell you things like, we want you to be like a Ted DiBiase. They changed my name from what I normally name my wrestlers, which is Rogue. They changed it to Whack Chrome. Yes, that's right. My wrestler's name now is Whack Chrome. And I said, I don't like that name. He's like, I didn't know. That wasn't a choice. That's your name from now on. That's what you're going to be called. And then he put me in some weird outfits and he changed my music. And I'm like, this is the worst. And then my tag team partner was like, let's have the same outfits. So I was like, thank you. At least I'm not wearing some weird. He had me look like Gold Dust kind of.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I became the TV champion of the Canadian League, which is like the Intercontinental Championship in any other leagues. And I've been holding on. So I'm a 3-time tag team champions in this league. I was a tag team champion in the wrestling school as well. But then I lost that title because it was stripped from me. I don't know what happened there. But I am a 3-time tag team champion in Canadian League. I am the one that holds the tag title the longest and the TV title the longest, mind you. So it's cool because my character comes down with 2 different belts. I don't know. I just love.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I do love the fact that when you come down, you can do whatever you want, right? Like there's not like set actions. You can like I jump on top of the barricades and I like taunt the crowd and stuff like that. It's just fun. I just love this game so much. I don't know. It's just goofy. It's just so silly. But it is broken. It's broken. I saw something where somebody posted where it was like the Kurt Angle character was found he's missing or he's found dead. I don't remember. And his tag team partner is on the run and the police are looking for him. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like just the crazy stuff that happens in that game. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. I will say there's a couple things that you can really cheat in this game. Like you could just the count out is broken. So if I throw somebody out, and I leave them out there for a little bit, I can go out and I have a counter on top of my head, and the other guy has a counter on top of his head, and his counter obviously is going to be larger because he's been out there longer. So I can just keep heading with a steel chair over and over and over again, and then I win the match.
As a ref, you can fast count too when they're out of the ring.
Oh, fun! Yeah, because I noticed that. So this happened to me in one match where I was wrestling. The ref was out there, and then all of a sudden one of my like arch rivals comes walking out as a ref. He comes out of the crowd, and he's now a ref too. And I was like, wait, what? And then he was, when I was pinning him, he was counting really slow, and I was like, come on. It was kind of crazy. So I like how crazy and how wacky the game is. I'm debating Whack Chrome. I'm debating if I want to change all the wrestlers, because there's rosters out there. This is what this wrestler is, and this is who this wrestler is, and you can tell. I'm debating whether or not to change all the names, because I kind of like the fact of having like these, crazy versions of these characters. I don't know. We'll see.
That's a lot of work for 350 wrestlers.
It really is.
That's a big time investment.
Some of them are locked too. Some of the wrestlers are locked. So you don't get them until, I don't know. You must have to unlock them at some point while you're I think some of them unlock when you make it so far, like the British Bulldog character. I don't remember what he's named in the game, but he was the TV champion, but he was locked until I got the opportunity to take him on for the title. And then I got the title from him. So yeah, I know, it's cool. I don't know. I hear your criticisms and I agree. And I'm sorry if you feel like I cheated you out of $20.
Oh, the money is not what I'm concerned about. It's my precious, precious time that
I'm more concerned that we've went from the Hades podcast to the Wrestling Empire podcast. That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to move on from that game because I did play one other game. I played two other games this week that I want to talk about. One, I took Mike's advice and I got Foregone.
I did too, but I haven't started it.
That game is so good.
Oh, no. Okay, good. Because I thought you were going to try to get revenge on me.
No. That game, you're right, Mike. The animation is smooth as butter. It's so good. It's so good.
That's the word I use.
I love the voice acting in the game. I love the look of the game. It's it's pixelated, but it's so good. It's like watching a cartoon. I just keep watching. I was like, wow, this is so well done. It reminds me a little bit of Dead Cells in a way, just because when you kill somebody, you get drops like that, right? The one complaint that I have, and it's just one, is when you shoot your gun, you can't really control. I was kind of expecting to use the right stick to control where I aim my gun.
Okay.
But it's just auto aim.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Because there was times where I was on a lower platform and I wanted to shoot up at the enemies above, but because they didn't pick up that they're in my auto aim, it just shot straight forward. But I do like the fact that you get ammo back by doing like physical attacks against enemies.
Yeah.
And then you can unlock new weapons as well. So there's a lot to really like about this game. I only put in maybe an hour in this game so far, but I loved every minute of it. I was like, oh my gosh, this game is so good. And I was a little worried because I do love like Castlevania and I do love Super Metroid. But sometimes some of the Metroidvania games are maybe frustrating is the word. Yeah. This one's not. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this game is so good. I really like this game a lot. So yeah, I'm glad that you found this game, Mike, because it was on sale too.
Yeah, and like I said, I am absolutely shocked that I'd never even heard of this game.
Yeah, me too.
That I just came across it by chance.
Yeah, no, agreed. This game is really, really good. Then the other game that I reviewed for the site, and this game is a zombie apocalypse game. It's an action adventure game, so it has parts of like adventure and part action. And this game is called Red Colony. Have you guys heard of this game at all?
No.
Nope.
So this game was made by I think two people, and it is a side scroller, or it's a 2D side scroller game, and you play the part of this character named Maria. It takes place in a colony, and you are like a boss at this labs where a virus got out and caused all these people to turn into zombies. And now you have to figure out what's going on. And on top of that, your kid and your husband are not home. They're gone. And it turns out they're with the nanny. Dun, dun, dun. No, that's not spoiler because you'll figure that out pretty quickly.
Okay.
The nanny filled the shoes of a overworked and career-minded Maria, I guess, if you will. Like, there's references that Maria paid spent too much time in the office, not enough time with the family, and the nanny kind of stepped in and
well, good for the nanny.
Yeah.
That's going above and beyond the Call of Duty at your job.
That's right. You find out by finding a filmed tape of them when you go back to the house. So that's interesting. So needless to say, this game is like a B-rated movie. If you ever watched some of these really horror movies.
Never seen
those are
one.
my favorite horror movies. Are
there's a lot of sex involved with this game. So I'll start with the things I really like about the game. I like the artwork. The artwork is so good. It looks like an anime. And just the scenes, like just they set the scenes and they set the atmosphere. It's just so beautiful. Like they did such a good job with it. I love it. I love the characters. I love the character designs. The women are a little scantily clad.
And gratuitous.
In an anime?
Never, right? I know. So, I mean, there's very much Japanese influence here. And you know, the concept of putting an adventure game where you have to like go around and find clues and solve puzzles and unlock these puzzles, and then you include that with zombies, and then you have to use either a gun or a knife or whatever you have on you to attack the zombies. I like that idea. That's a novel, cool concept. I loved it. Like,
have you heard of Resident Evil?
Okay. There's a lot of agreed.
Because you just described Resident Evil.
Yes. I guess what I'm thinking from like the King's Quest games. Like there's some influence from there, right? The old King's Quest games, I should say, where there's side-scrolling King's Quest games. Yes, there's a lot of influence from Resident Evil. There's lots of reference from Resident Evil. Like for instance, when to save the game, you find jump drives. And then you have to take it to a kiosk to save the jump drive. But guess what? Apparently, it only has enough for one save, and then you have to find another jump drive to save it next time you get to another kiosk. So I was like, wow, that's like old time Resident Evil. We had to find like the
your typewriter ribbons.
Typewriter ribbons, yeah, exactly. There's crafting in this game, so you can craft weapons and you can craft ammo for the weapons, and it's all done through a 3D printer, which is interesting. So you're finding ribbon for the 3D printer. The problem is that even when you craft something, like I crafted some bullets, and I had 2 bullets, and then I was back to my knife. And I went back to my knife, and I'd use my knife. So you use your knife a lot. So you have to get accustomed to using the knife. And I will say that the mechanics are a little janky. So like the knife, it's a little, you have to time it right. If you don't time it right, you think that you're stabbing him, but you're not. And then you get bit by the zombie. So it doesn't, I mean, you just have to pick up on how to use the weapons. But the artwork is so good. It looks hand-drawn. I think it is hand-drawn art. But I think that's hard when you're trying to animate hand-drawn art and in an action, right? Like that sometimes that can be hard to do. The zombies look amazing. And I love the fact that when you attack a zombie, like pieces of them fall off. And the zombies also tie into some of the characters that you might find in the game. So like, to give an example, there was a story about this guy who got infected, and his wife got infected, and his child got infected. And he had to make a decision about his wife and his kid, and he did. And I'm not going to spoil that. But then you find him, and he's a zombie, and then you have to, kill him. So I was like, wow, that I liked that the zombies felt like they were real people, not like just random zombies walking around. I felt like there was a reason for that zombie to be there. I really liked that about the game. When you get attacked by the zombies, there's a lot of sex in this game. When you get attacked by the zombies, not only do they hurt you, but they rip your clothes off too.
I'm sold.
So by the time and when you heal yourself, your clothes magically come back together too.
Is that your health meter? Is how much clothing you have on?
Because that's a brilliant idea.
It really is. So yeah, there was a lot of times where like pretty much I'm just walking around in a piece of cloth with pretty much a bra and underwear. So
I would get so many game overs on that. Whoops, another game over. Oh darn.
I saved it with only 1 hit left too. Darn it.
Yeah. There's yeah, exactly. There's a lot of sex in this game. So for instance, you'll come across this journal from this guy, and he's trapped in this room with this girl, and he and this girl, I don't know why a lot of these girls, like, you're like, what are you wearing? Like, what are you wearing? This is a zombie apocalypse. What are you wearing?
Yeah.
But he, in his journal, he talks about how he's like, oh my gosh, I might die by zombie, but I'm going to get laid before that happens. I don't think that happens to him. I think he dies beforehand, but
Oh.
So my biggest gripes in the game, I mean, outside, I don't, here's the thing. There's a lot of sex in the game. It's not going to be for everybody, but they were going for a B-rated movie. Like, you can tell this was supposed to be a B-rated movie. So that's what they were going for. I'm not going to fault them for that.
And to that, I'm sure they succeeded, because that was some of the best parts of those awesome B-rated movies
Yeah, probably.
of the 80s
That's right.
and early 90s.
That's right. So they got a lot of influence from that. They got a lot of influence from Resident Evil. The puzzles are really easy. Like, they're normally 4 inputs, like maybe 4 digits, or you have to hit 4 different buttons. Yeah, and usually, like there might be pictures, and you have to figure that out. But it's not. I can tell they wanted to make it like a Metroidvania, where you have to go around and find the clues to these puzzles. But because there's these buildings that have several floors, but it's not hard. Like, there's nothing in these buildings that are like, it's not complicated. I guess that's the thing. Like, it's all 2D. And I know Metroid does a really good job with that, and so does Castlevania, but I wish that there was more depth with the levels. That's one thing that I wish there was, and more depth with the puzzles themselves. And then the other thing is just the fact that you're stuck with your knife. It's a little janky for the animation, so if you get used to it, you're gonna just kind of easily go through this game with stabbing the zombies, because you're never overwhelmed by zombies either. But I don't know. I gave it a C, because I thought that there's a lot of good things with this game, and I really liked the art, and I liked, it's different. It was a different zombie game. I know there's a lot of influence from Resident Evil, but it was just, I wish that the game mechanics and the puzzles were more challenging. So that's Red Colony.
Sounds intriguing.
I think it's like $7 too. So
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, so it's not expensive. It'll probably take you about 2.5-3 hours to complete total. So,
okay.
It's not a long game, but it's not an expensive game. So, if you want to try something different, and you, I don't know, I guess if you like cheesy horror movies, you might like this game actually. So, yeah, that's on the eShop right now. And that's one thing I was surprised that it's on Nintendo. It's on a Nintendo system. Think about that. Back in the Wii, that would never have landed on or Super Nintendo. Never been on the Wii.
Oh yeah,
on the Wii or Super Nintendo. But
yeah, but look at all the heavily top-heavy games that they've got on there now, with all of the visual novels and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
they definitely went a little bit more mature.
Not to mention a certain shmup that we seem to all unanimously enjoy.
What was the other one that I mentioned? That brick one. There was like that brick one that was very similar.
Oh yeah. Damn it, I wrote that down somewhere too.
But yeah. So that is Red Colony. All right. So let's go into the switching on the budget game this week. And this week the game was Armello. And I'll just give a brief description of it. It's
Is that possible?
Not really. No, it's not. The best way I describe it, it's like a card game meets a tabletop game meets an RPG meets, I don't know, strategy game kind of, I guess.
Meets here's the best part. Meets The Secret of Nim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
put that in my notes.
That's a really good point. So I'm going to start first just because of one reason. Because I didn't get very far. The game glitched out on me. Every time I made it to, and it wasn't far in the game. Every time I made it to, like, one of the first, there was a first quest and the second quest. The second quest has you stand right next to the castle and the guards come out and attack you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The second guard that came out and attacked me, after he's done attacking me, the game just freezes. And then it just sat there and did nothing. And then I go in to close it, to close the game, and it sits there and says, "Oh, there was an error." And then it like refreshes everything. I go back into the game. I'm back at the same spot. Do the same thing over again. Same thing. The game freezes up on me, and I was so disappointed because I liked this game. I was super excited about playing this game, and it crashed every single time. I think I'm just gonna have to delete it, re-download it, and hopefully that fixes it.
Again.
Yeah.
So you never made it past the prologue and actually got to play a full game?
No.
Oh.
But I did notice one thing, that the prologue played out the same way every time. So those rolling the dice wasn't so random in the prologue, I'll tell you that. Because that same exact thing happened every single time, which is good testing. I get to see, oh, okay, well, they had this planned. And I guess that made sense because they had some dialogue that they wanted to have read to you. And I think they were trying to teach you some things, obviously, in the tutorial.
Well, that's the thing. That you need to be taught how to play this game.
Yeah.
You repeatedly and often.
Yeah, exactly. So unfortunately, that's the extent of where I got with the game. It looked cool. The graphics are cool. You're right, is like the secret of Nim. But as far as I got. Or Redwall. Wasn't that the other one? Redwall too? Wasn't that a real famous book?
I never heard.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
My brother was really into Redwall. It's like creatures, animals that are like medieval.
Oh.
I never read it. I just saw the books on his shelf. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's younger than me, and the series came out when he was like in grade school. So I'm sure it's a good series. I just haven't read it.
Yeah. So the animation, I love the animation. That opening sequence is so nice too. Mm-hmm. It's just you can make an entire series out of that. There was so much character and everything in just that opening. The game is definitely deep. If you're going to get this game, I would highly recommend that you take your time with it because there's a lot to learn. I mean, it's like, like Roger said, it's kind of like a cross between a tabletop game or a board game or a card game or a dice game. So you have a lot to learn. You have to learn how to play the game. You think everybody was able to play Monopoly the first time they opened it up? I don't think so. I still had problems playing that game. So I like the mini quests. It's like you can either play it safe or or just live dangerously. It's like, all right, and you're so as you're playing the game, you'll come across situations and you make a decision on what you want to do. Are you going to help the people or are you not going to? Things like that, and your decisions all give you different buffs or nerfs. So that's cool. It gives it that extra story, makes it feel more than just like a board game.
Yeah.
I like the card aspect. I like the dice aspect. Also, it kind of reminded me of like Dungeons and Dragons or Choose Your Own Adventure because especially with those quests, they really get very descriptive. It's like you do this, but you slip and fall and you hurt yourself. It's a really good. There's online to it.
Yeah.
The only downside to that, it's only on the Switch, so there's no cross-platform play. So if you're going to play it on the Switch and you want to play online, I guess it all just depends on how it engaged the Switch base is on it.
Yeah.
Did you open up the online play?
No.
Okay, me neither.
Is this game on other systems?
Yes.
Okay. I did notice it's an older game too. It's like 2012
or something like that even.
Yeah.
So originally a mobile game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
I think so. I think it was originally one of those free to play iPhone games.
Okay.
So
this game I had to read a lot. I had to read a lot
of reading.
That entire prologue is nothing but reading. It does a good enough job of pointing you in the right direction as to what everything does and how to do it. But then the terms for victory got a little skewed to me, with the exception of being the most popular or having the most prestige, being the easiest way to win or being the most tarnished, like having your rot level higher than the king's when the king dies.
Right.
But then there's a way to get it with soul stones too. And I had all 4 soul stones when I played an actual game, but I still didn't win. I'm not sure if I was supposed to take them and do something with them. I like the fact that when you're doing the encounters, if you choose the not safe approach, it tells you what your percentage of actually completing it is. That's kind of nice. Like you guys said, the animations are gorgeous. The characters look really, really cool. It's awesome design in the game.
Yeah.
I kind of wish the board itself was a little bit bigger. It felt kind of small when you're playing, and you've got 2 or 3 of the King's Guards that are out there wandering around, and 2 or 3 of the rot beasts. I don't remember what they were called out there, as well as the 4 players, and it's only like a 25 tile big type of map too. So I mean, you've already got a third of the board just covered in different characters, which I suppose makes it a little bit of a quicker play. There was a lot to digest, but all in all, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. Jordan,
like I said, definitely. Oh, well, I'll just say this one last thing. Definitely, like I said, if you like these kinds of games, just be prepared to put some time into it. But the time you put into it is going to be worth it.
Yeah, and I mean that's essentially what Jordan had said too. I'll read his review because he sent us the review, and I'm going to read it verbatim because we are now an explicit podcast. I just want to let you guys know that every episode.
We got
you're
officially
just now
rated
telling me this?
Yeah, really.
There's a reason
right,
you haven't
Phil.
told me this, isn't there?
That's right.
Phil's
that's
got a
right.
reserve now that he's got.
So Jordan said, "Fuck me, there's a lot to this game. If you're the type who likes playing board games that take 45 minutes to read through all the rules to understand, this is the perfect game for you." So, yeah. There's a lot
And
of
even
reading.
after reading the rules, you're still not going to understand it because it's not that it's convoluted. There's just so much to it.
There's so much.
Right.
Yeah. The one complaint that I had was, and I don't know, I played a lot of handheld. Mike, do you play handheld? I forget. Do you play handheld?
Yes, I always do handheld.
Okay. But Phil, you play on the screen, right? Typically?
Mhm. Yep.
Handheld, I thought the print was a little small.
I was about to say, how in the hell could you have read anything on those?
Yeah.
On handheld.
Yeah, it was pretty small. I think that I played other games where they had a lot of print like that, and they focused on like the ability to like zoom in on the text or like pop out the text, right? And there's a lot of text in this game. So I wish they had that better figured out, but that's too bad. I really was looking forward to playing this game, and then it just kept crashing on me.
Oh, that's too bad. You probably have to re-download it because the same thing happened to me with
Wrestling Empire?
Final Station.
Final Station. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I didn't have any problems with Final Station. That's so weird.
I had to completely shut down the Switch and restart it.
That's so
in order
crazy.
for it to work.
That's so
I do
crazy.
want to say as well, like sorry, I'll go back to my little hidey hole for a second.
No,
I just
no.
had one more thought on the game that was
go ahead.
that really impressed me. When you get done, because you only play with the 4 characters in the original, in the prologue, it opens up to being 8 characters, and everybody's got different things that you can equip as well. Once the game opens up and you're playing, and you can unlock the different things by how you play the game, by who you play the game as. You'll open up different charms and items and things like that too. So I mean, there's a lot of replayability into it, aside from obviously just the randomness of it being a board game.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty nice that there was some depth to it.
Yeah.
There was depth within the depth.
Well, and the other thing that we didn't mention, just because we didn't play this, but there is DLC for this game, so you can add more characters. Yeah, more characters and more scenarios and such. So more stories. So I don't know how much that runs. I think this game is normally $20. I think. And what did we pay for it? Like $3 or something.
I thought it was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, that was like
6 or 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. But still, that's pretty cheap for. I don't know if it's on sale anymore, but at the time it was really cheap. So, okay, well that's Armello, and I guess now I'll turn it over to Phil. Phil, it's your pick.
I would just like to reiterate again that I like you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Thank you. We like you
And
too, Phil.
There's times that I really want to do stuff to you guys just to be my typical jackass type of self.
Mhm.
I almost picked out a game called Deep Sea Explorer, knowing Roger's dreaded fear of the deep seas.
Yeah, I would not have wanted to play that.
but it looked like it ran really janky, but there were sharks in it and stuff. And then there was a bunch of like, what the hell do you call those puzzles where you got to slide the bricks around and you can't, you got to line them all up and there's like 9 of them. I hate those things. And if they wouldn't have showed me that in the trailer, we'd probably be playing it. But they showed me some in the trailer. And I'm just like, yeah, this game's off the chart. And then there was another game I looked at called like Bailamos Latino, which is Dance Dance Revolution, or not Dance Dance Revolution, but just Dance with all Latin music that was on sale that I thought would be pretty amusing to force us all to play that. But
let the rhythm take you over, Bailamos.
Oh no, it's going to be there for the rest of the day. But I decided that it wouldn't really be worth us all playing that unless we could somehow stream ourselves looking like absolute idiots trying to do Latino dances.
I could stream myself from the hospital after I
fracture everything.
Yeah.
So instead, I settled on a game that has a very unique look to it. I'm not too sure when it came out. I could probably scroll down and discover that. I can tell you that it's on sale right now. It's normally $20. It's currently on sale for $3.79. Came out June 28th of 2018. It's on sale until the 31st of January because it's another thing I like to factor in when I'm choosing a game is to make sure that if anybody's actually listening to the show, they've got a chance to grab it for cheap as well.
We have a few people listen to the show.
Well, I know we do, but it makes us... Can't I make fun of us?
No, you can. That's right. You can.
All right. So the name of this game is Figment by Bedtime Digital.
Huh. This sounds familiar, actually.
Join Dusty and his optimistic friend Piper on an adventure through the mind.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
It's all right. An action adventure set in the recesses of the human mind. Welcome to the world of Figment, a strange and surreal world. A place filled with our deepest thoughts, urges, and memories, populated by the many voices we hear in our heads. This mind has been quiet and calm for many years, but something has changed. New thoughts have started to emerge, taking the shape of nightmarish creatures who spread fear wherever they go. The only hope is for Grumpy Dusty, the mind's former voice of courage, to get back to his old self and help the mind face its fears. Join Dusty and the ever-optimistic friend Piper, scrolled too far, on an adventure through the different sides of the mind, solving puzzles to set things straight, beating back the nightmares and seeking to restore the courage that has been lost. Some of the highlights. Cool. Yeah, some of the highlights, I'm not going to go too deep into it, are a whimsical hand-drawn world, enjoy a full score of musical performance, fight nightmares head-on, and use both brain and brawn.
Oh, cool.
It's got like a paragraph after each of those, but that sounds like a lot of work to read that much. I already had to read a shitload today playing Armello.
I'm all read it out.
That's right. That's right.
I was looking on the eShop. I like the isometric viewpoint in it, and I like the art style. So,
yeah, those were the two things that grabbed me right out of the gates, and just like, oh, this looks super cool.
Yeah, I actually was going to pick this game last week. I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't because you picked it then. But then I saw this game and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
It kind of gives me like reading through it gives me like thoughts of Psychonauts.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, not at all. It's funny that you said you want to be nice to us. Yeah. When we first started Gamerheads podcast many years ago, not many, I guess only 5 years ago now. Only too many. That's right. One of the segments they used to do was called the Trash Bin Game, and one of our co-hosts, Jake, worked at the local game store, so he would go through all like the just garbage games and make me play them, and I had to review them as though like I was really reviewing a game. They were not nice to me, so I appreciate the fact that you're nice to me. They made me play some kind of Barbie horse game. They made me play that.
That sounds awesome. What are you complaining about? It's a horse game.
Barbie. Yeah, and a Barbie game.
You better hope that no horse racing games ever go on sale or like anything like that. Any kind of, because I'll be all over that as well.
Actually, what's one of the best horse racing games I've ever played? Was it's on the 3DS. Yeah, I think it's called Pocket Jockey.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that game is so good, right, Mike?
I don't know. I never played it. I remember you talking about it though.
Oh, okay. It's made by oh my gosh, who? Pokemon Company.
The
Game Freak.
Mobile?
Game Freak.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And it's made by Game Freak. It's a game that not many people have on their radar, and they really should. It's solitaire, but you're like racing your horse, and the better you do at the solitaire levels, the better your horse will do. It's so good. It's such a good game. And then there's like trophies you can get, and one of them is like gotta get them all. Like they just make fun of like their own inside jokes kind of thing. If you have a 3DS, I highly recommend Pocket Jockey. It's such a great game. No, cool. I'm looking forward to Figment. That's cool. So we'll be playing.
Yeah, hopefully it plays as well as it looks.
Yeah, cool. All right, before we leave, then let's talk about how people can get a hold of us through the social media, not like phone number. Mike, we'll start with you. How can people get a hold of you?
You could find me on Twitter at TC Throwers and on Twitch at twitch.tv/TC Throwers. Nice.
And Phil, how can people get a hold of you?
Apparently, since I can't just give out my phone number anymore, you can reach me on Twitter at bnow23. And if you DM me there, I'll give you my phone number.
Okay, that's true. He gave me his phone number.
See?
That is a true statement. And listeners, he might not give you his phone number, but he gave it to me. You can follow us on Twitter at GamerHeadsPC or at Nindie Focus. No. Focus Nindie. Oh, I get that all confused because I had to go backwards. And then you can also go online at gamerheadspodcast.com where you can listen to this show. You can also listen to shows like the Control Authors podcast. The Control Authors podcast. I can't talk today either. That's Mike's other show. And you can also listen to the Real Dudes podcast, the Bells and Roses podcast, the Gamerheads podcast in the show too. And you can read reviews and news and articles as well. All right. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us this week.
No problem.
And Phil, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me.
And listeners, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a listen. We really appreciate it. Again, if you like what you hear, leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you have to say about the show. With that, until next week, stay safe and game on. Talk to you later. See ya.
So long.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.